Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Thomas back at you with another video. And today we've kind of got like a little bit of an interesting story here. The company Clear Secures Incorporated have an IPO coming up. And so I think this could be an interesting investment opportunity. Now, I'm going to be honest, the company itself, I'm not going to say I'm super excited per se about what they have to bring. Um, but I think the IPO could be an interesting investment choice. And so just to talk a little bit about the company. So basically what they are is they're a biotech company. And so they supply uh, biometric technology to airports. Essentially, that's their big thing. I think they're also in hospitals as well. Uh, I was going through their website, just trying to see everything that they had. But their big thing is airports. And so they're in quite a few of the major ones. As you see, Chicago, they're in O'Hare, they're in St. Louis, they are in Dallas, the Fort Worth one, several big ones, Houston. So they're in a lot of big airports, New York, LaGuardia, obviously. And hey, I mean, they're even in other spots too, Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, Madison Square Garden. So they have a lot of locations. So without a doubt, they've definitely spread themselves out across the world. And I think that's really good. We want to have influence on a broad scale. I think there's nothing wrong with smaller companies. I think small companies are good to invest in as well. But if you've been watching my videos at all, I'm very big on getting as much of the economy involved in it as possible, because it's a bigger economy, more money, larger cap. It works out better for everybody in the long run, more or less. Especially if you're a long-term investor, maybe not so much short-term, but either way. So they have a lot of influence across the country, I guess, more or less. They have a lot of influence in the country with airports, stadiums, stuff like that. And I do think that biometrics are a good investment to make because, the world's just moving that way. Now, right now, we're also coming off of COVID. And so that means that more places will start opening up and there might be a higher demand for biometrics. So this could be a good opportunity investment. And now they say that it's about $27 to $30 is the expected share cost of the IPO. We will have to see. But I think that will go up, mostly because we're going to require more of these biometric technological advancements in the future, whether or not it's this year or next year or the following year. It's going to be growing. And keep in mind, this company's been around for about 11 years now. And so I think that if they've been able to sustain for 11 years and get into major cities with major companies, major airports, I think they could do something really big. Now, I don't know that for certain just because I hadn't really heard of this company prior to now, but at the same time, most people don't look for biometric companies either. So, I mean, if you have had your eye on it, let me know. I'm curious to hear what they've been up to. But there was one thing that I did want to point out, and this is where I think a big portion of investment opportunity comes in. So I'm not going to promise that this is going to blow up. I think it could, mostly because the demand is there. But another thing that I want to point out is, so I went into their IPO paperwork and I wanted to just look at the stockholders, the Class A. I looked at Class A stock. I wanted to see who would be holding that. And there were 2 or 3 that investors that jumped to me. The first one was Delta Air. I mean, they're obviously one of the biggest airlines out there. And with them having such a with Clear having such a dominance in airports, I think I think it'll be only a matter of time, possibly before other airlines jump in on it, especially after the IPO. Now, they may not end up doing that, but that being said, with Delta being on board, I think it's a big advantage to this company. And so, I think that's good to see if an airline is backing up airline products. The second thing I want to point out, which I think is more interesting, is T. Rowe Price Associations Incorporated. So I went through this list just to try to look through everybody, and a lot of these holders are board members, obviously, and there's some investors in there as well. But what stood out to me about T. Rowe was that they are an investment firm. And so they do global investing. And the bigger thing that stood out to me, though, is that they're listed in the NASDAQ. And so what that means is that we've got bigger players behind this one player. So T. Rowe on its own is already big. They're on the global scale. They invest across the globe. They provide that sort of financial advising and that sort of funding, which I think is really good. The more it gets out into the globe, the better it is for you as an individual. Get that company, get that middleman who's going to do that investing for you. But what I wanted to point out, though, was they're on the NASDAQ. And why that's a big deal is because of their investors in the NASDAQ. The big one is Vanguard. The moment I saw that they had Vanguard in it, and that Vanguard is buying into it right now at 20,000 plus shares. Vanguard and BlackRock, both really big. Vanguard buying it at 20,000, BlackRock buying it at about 139,000, close to 140,000. And then also JP Morgan. These are huge investors. This is not some little company. These are big investors buying into it. And now obviously there's some that are selling out too. Like, hear that Charles Schwab selling out quite a few shares, but Vanguard's one of the biggest investment companies on top of BlackRock. Both of these companies are huge. And I mean, I'm not discounting JP Morgan either. Now, all of these are huge, but the fact that Vanguard and BlackRock together bought about over 150,000 shares of this company, I think there's something to be said about how that's going to impact Clear. Now, they're not necessarily going to be a huge impact on Clear, I guess. The whole stock itself is not going to jump up thousands of dollars. But I think there's something going on here where there's almost 160,000 shares being bought in on an investor who is about to own Class A stock in a company that is about to have its IPO. That's not, I can't say that's coincidental. Now, part of it is just because there's a buying and selling aspect to it. They're going to buy shares one way or another. But I think that this could be a really good turn. I don't know what we can expect from Clear yet. It's really hard to say just because it's an IPO starting off. But I don't know. I'm very curious about this. This right here catches my eye. I think that this is very much a speculative investing right here. And so this is not me giving you financial advice, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The fact that such big companies are invested into this company, I don't know. I have a good feeling about it, but again, this is very speculative. This is not me saying go invest in it, but I'm saying that I think we can expect something interesting. It's not, for one, IPOs, they're huge for companies. So, and also the fact that it's starting off at about $27 to $30 per share, that's a lot. That is more than several other major companies. That's more than Ford trades for. Ford Motors trades for less than that. General Motors is about this ballpark, actually. General Motors is a little bit higher. For the longest time, Snapchat was trading for less than this until it jumped up quite a bit over the last year. So, that's a big IPO in my opinion. It's not huge corporate level, but it's a pretty substantial one, if I do say so myself. And so I think that something exciting is going to happen here. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily good. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be bad, but what I do know is we can expect something sort of exciting to happen. I mean, the IPO is expected to happen on July 1st. That's about 8-9 days from now. I forget how many days are in this month, but I'm excited to see what happens. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What's going to happen here? Am I being a little too speculative? Is there maybe something here that is not actually going to happen? I want to hear from you guys. And And I want to thank everybody for all the new support. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you want to see in the future. I'm working on several videos to come out this week. And, give me your feedback on all of them. I appreciate all the feedback that I do get, and I try to create my videos in a way that caters to you guys and is still informative and is still useful for you guys. So, and make sure to hit the bell icon for future videos. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for all the support, guys, and I will see you all next time.